Impact segment tonight looks like Iraq on the verge of collapse as al-Qaeda has now captured two major cities and the Iraqi army has fallen apart. This after the USA invested more than $1 trillion in that country and saw nearly 4,500 Americans killed, more than 32,000 injured. Incredibly, some liberal Democrats continue to support President Obama's foreign policy, which some believe is ineffective. In fact, one congresswoman actually thinks the Taliban are not terrorists.
Let me underscore the term terrorist. The Taliban is part of the fabric of Afghanistan. They were part of the leadership of that country before we engaged there. So to say that they are terrorists at this point is not necessarily accurate.
Are you kidding me? Apparently, Ms. Spire missed the Taliban attacking the Karachi airport in Pakistan a couple of days ago and all of the other terrorist actions they've committed. Joining us now from Washington, Fox News strategic analyst Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters. So I think the jihadists are winning. I think they're actually winning right now. Am I wrong?
No, you're correct. You know, as far as the Congresswoman's statement goes, that's right. Taliban aren't terrorists. They're community organizers who happen to slaughter women and children, kill doctors, kill teachers, burn clinics, and, of course, attack the Karachi airport, in addition to killing Americans. You know, nice folks. Yeah. But, Bill, you are fundamentally right, because after Obama swearing in his last re-election campaign that al-Qaeda he'd personally defeated al-Qaeda, let me tell you, when he took office in his first term, al-Qaeda was broken. Today, al-Qaeda's descendants, such as the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS active in Iraq and Syria now, al-Qaeda in its many forms is far stronger than ever. And the event we just saw with these jihadis seizing Iraq's second largest city, Mosul, 1.4 million population, and seizing today Tikrit, Saddam's old hometown, in addition to Fallujah, we're seeing two things. First of all, forget that line on the Rand McNally maps dividing Syria and Iraq. There is now a new state, a jihadi state stretching from central Syria to central Iraq and continuing to expand. And, you know, it's about what people fight for.
Okay, well, we got to explain that. We got to explain that, okay? Now, here's what's going on so everybody knows what the colonel is saying. Assad is fighting a civil war. He is the dictator of Syria. Syria is north of Iraq, all right? One of the groups fighting against Assad is al-Qaeda, the fundamentalists, the jihadists that want him out of there, and they want to take Syria over. They have an army there. Their army is now infiltrated into Iraq, joining with other Iraqi al-Qaedas. That combined force is overwhelming the Iraqi army, which we trained and armed. They are now deserting, giving up. 40 miles is what separates Baghdad, the capital, from Fallujah. 40 miles. And al-Qaeda controls Fallujah. So it's over, in my opinion, unless Iran comes in on the side of Maliki, the Iraq dictator, or president, whatever you want to call him, and pushes him out, which Iran could do. But then Iran controls Iraq, not al-Qaeda. But the fundamental thing is the Obama administration has lost control of foreign policy. We see that in Afghanistan with this crazy deal they made for Bergdahl. Now we see Iraq going down the drain. You just heard the border. That's a foreign policy issue. You just heard that they can't stop the millions of people coming in from the border, and everybody knows it. So Bill, it's out of control.
Bill, the root evil here is that after we won in Iraq, defeated al-Qaeda, won and stabilized Iraq for purely political reasons, President Obama withdrew all our forces, did not leave a small residual force.
Yeah, but that's not quite fair. You know that Maliki would not indemnify the U.S. troops. That's what we wanted to keep them there.
Bill,
you can't try that.
Bill, no. Obama did not try to get a deal. That was all a
Are you sure he did not try to get a deal?
I am sure. I'm 100% sure he did not try seriously to get a deal. He didn't. A small residual force left him in Iraq. Things would be different in Iraq, in Syria, and Iran. Then he made all these threats against Assad in the first year when there was still hope for a secular rebellion, and did nothing. I mean, it's from Nigeria and Boko Haram to Pakistan and Afghanistan and the Taliban. The jihadists are winning. There's no question about it.
It's all falling apart. And you add in Putin seizing Crimea, our foreign policy is in disarray. And it's coming fast. All of this stuff is happening fast, and it's not happening in a vacuum. All right, the Taliban's not attacking an airport, and the jihadis aren't attacking Mosul in a vacuum. They see the weakness, and now everybody's coming. Here they come. Last word, Colonel.
In the Middle East, the United States is now in its weakest position since 1945 and the birth of the modern Middle East. Jihadis are winning because they are willing to die for their fanatical cause. The Iraqi soldiers, Syrians, and others aren't willing to die for their dictators. And we are facing a problem, if not caused, as I believe, at least exacerbated by Obama's dilatory incompetence. We're facing a problem, Bill, that is going to plague us for many years to come.
Because once the jihadis get control of the state, they can strengthen themselves and attack America. All right, Colonel,
have a state.
We appreciate it. Directly ahead, two liberal Americans. Now their lead story are the terrorists winning and the chaos on the border. With this, Fox News analyst Alan Colmes, I forgot his name for a moment, and Dr. Jeannie Zaino, who teaches political science at Iona College. Now, you're both liberal people. We have to deal with the facts and what's reality. You just saw two very, very troubling reports, okay? Now, maybe it's unfair, but the sitting president for 5.5 years is Barack Obama. His foreign policy seems to be just failing on every level. Am I wrong, Professor?
You're not wrong about the fact that there is no question that terrorism has increased under his presidency. The Rand Corporation recently did a study for the State Department. Between 2007 and 2013, it has increased ninefold, from 101 to 929
what
terrorist
do you
attacks.
Attribute that to?
A variety of factors. And I do think that the White House, the president, does bear some of the blame. Of course, it is
How do they bear some of the blame?
Because you have to look at the policies and you have to look...
But do you know what they've done wrong?
Well, I think, just as an example, I think you have to be very clear in terms of what your policy is going to be. And I point to the West Point speech on foreign policy where he said terrorism is, and I think he's right, the scourge of our time.
But he doesn't seem...
But it's not clear what he's going to do about it. So that,
he doesn't seem to know, Colmes, what to do about it. I mean, look, that border thing is shocking. Even you would agree with that. Yeah, thousands and thousands of people now turning themselves in, not running away anymore.
What did we expect in Iraq? The Shiites and the Sunnis were going to go after each other the minute we left Iraq, unless we stayed there forever, which we couldn't do.
Okay, but wait. You say we couldn't do. Peter says we could have left a residual force. And I believe that could have happened.
We couldn't, though. You pointed out that there was not a security arrangement.
Peter said he didn't even try to get it done.
I don't know about that. We wanted a security arrangement to keep American soldiers there. We could not get that. Just same thing with Afghanistan.
The fact remains that Iraq is going down the drain, that the southern border is, let's say, chaotic. Would that be?
Why is that our problem? Because we shouldn't have gone. You know, Iraq was safer.
Why is what
Iraq was safer under Saddam Hussein. Iraq is now aligned with Iran.
Argument.
We shouldn't have been in there.
You can make the argument if Saddam Hussein were still in power, he could fight the jihadis off. Right. You can make that argument, okay? But if the jihadis take over Iraq, we're in trouble. We, the American people, are in trouble. Do you not understand
I don't necessarily believe that. They don't have long-range missiles.
You don't believe that?
Iraq was never a threat to the United States. It was never a geopolitical threat.
If Iraq becomes a jihadi state, that's a threat to us?
Only if they have the military capability of attacking the United States.
Did you miss 9/11 or what?
That didn't come from Iraq.
No, it came from Afghanistan, which was the same situation.
If there are terrorist training camps like there were in Afghanistan, which is what we did, we would focus on the training camps. We don't have that at this point.
Do you see the danger here?
I see the danger, but I see his point that why were we in there in the first place?
Okay, that's revisionist history.
Well, it's not revisionist.
Sure it is.
President Obama inherited Iraq, and I agree with you on Afghanistan. That was his war. He said it was his war. But with Iraq, he inherited it. What do you do in a situation like that?
When a president is elected, he is elected by we the people to solve problems. It doesn't really matter how the problems got there. But in foreign policy, Barack Obama is not solving anything. Everything is getting worse.
Well, he's trying to clean up a big mess, and you have to say.
And you know what? He's failing. He's failing.
I don't think it has been as good as people thought it should be.
Would you not say he's failing? You said he's trying to clean a mess. He's failing.
I don't think he's doing a great job. I will tell you that.
You can't say everything is getting worse. He started getting him in line. He got Anwar al-Awlaki. He got 6 heads of Al-Qaeda. He has gone after Al-Qaeda with a focus like...
If you don't see that Iraq is about to fall, that Syria is out of control, that Afghanistan could fall, and that Putin's doing what he wants to do, I can't help you. I got to go. Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along this evening. We will talk with the journalist.